All right, guys. So we're gonna jump right into it. So welcome back to Orlando Out of Context. I'm Brian,
I'm Stephanie.
and today we have some Orlando legends in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
We have Alex and Joey. Welcome, Alex and Joey.
Hi, happy to be here.
So Alex and Joey used to run the famous Yum Yum cupcake truck. What was the official? Is it Yum Yum? Was there anything after Yum Yum?
It was the Yum Yum Cupcake Truck, which was that was the full name, but like everything had our website was the Yum Yum Cupcake Truck, our LLC. It was so long, and
I would go to like sign into my email and be like, Alex at the yumyumcupcaketruck.com.
So we learned our lesson. That's why Hungry Pants is 2 words.
So you guys, we're here to talk about today your new venture, which is Hungry Pants, which it's shorter.
Much shorter.
That's for your typing in your email,
That's
right?
solely for that purpose. It's 2 words.
Cut it short.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before we get into the history, because we want to talk history of Yum Yum, and then of course we want to get into Hungry Pants. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about your Orlando origin stories. So for the both of you, where did you come from before Orlando, or are you Florida natives?
So we're not Florida natives, but we do claim Orlando as home. And it was kind of a long road to get to that place where we're calling Orlando home, but it's official now. But I moved down in 2001 for UCF, and at the time, MGM, well, it was called MGM then, had their animation studio, and because of that, UCF had a really great animation program, because a lot of the animators were professors at UCF, but when Disney closed the studio, UCF got rid of the animation program. So I was a sophomore at UCF, and I said, you know what, though, I think I'm still going to stay here. I like it.
They just cut your program in the middle?
Yeah, they got rid of the class. It was they were still teaching like cell animation and like.
So you're an artist?
I was an artist, but
okay.
I'm not a practicing artist. But Alex is rolling his eyes inside. He hates that term.
Artist is a loose term, you know. We're all artists.
Never proclaim yourself as artist. Like, let someone else call you an artist. But anyway, yes, he's an artist.
I was an artist, but a rusty one. But anyhow, so I moved down here in 2001. But
yeah, and I moved down here. I was raised in Connecticut. Moved down here in 1997 with my mom's company. We were relocated, and
with the Yankees.
Yeah, we went to college at FSU. Came down to Orlando to work in the hospitality industry. So I was at a front desk. I was a front desk supervisor. And
when we met, he was a front desk supervisor.
Yeah, it was big deal. Big deal. And
at a Disney resort?
Actually at the Marriott World Center.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we actually, so I was a senior in college when we met in 2005, and at the time, Southern Nights was undergoing a renovation, and so their gay college night was at Firestone
on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm. So we typically probably would have met at Southern Nights, but because of the remodel, we met at Firestone. I mean, not romantic at all, but when you click and it clicks, that's what happened. And then, yeah, and then he wouldn't stop calling me. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. And about 2 months later, I graduated from UCF, and then
we moved across the country together.
We moved to San Francisco. We left Orlando the first time.
Oh my gosh, that's a big move.
Yeah, we had a lease on a studio like in 2 months together, so it was very lesbian of us, but it worked, and we were out there for a couple years. Moved to Philly.
San Francisco is beautiful. We love San Francisco.
Oh, we love San Francisco.
I'm from California.
Love it.
Yeah. So I grew up in Sacramento, which is just 2 hours.
Yeah. But like a completely different climate than San Francisco.
Oh yeah, totally. It's
so
like
hot.
in the summer, it's really hot in Sacramento. So if you want to escape the hot, you just go to San Francisco and it's cold.
It's like literally
right.
a different climate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But so we loved it. We loved it out there, but it was far, and it was fun for a few years. But ultimately, we made our way back here.
Yeah. And so you said you were in Philly too,
which is where I'm from.
Okay.
And this is kind of where, for a while, I grappled with Philly was home, and I always wanted to go back home. And then every time we did, I found Orlando.
You want to come back here?
Yeah, and we made poor Alex was along for the journey, but
whatever makes you happy.
So we moved to Philly, and then we're there for a few years. And we actually, something that kind of sparked, I think, the ability for us to do Yum Yum together was we bought a really old home, like was built in like 1880, and we renovated it together and sold it, and it was successful. And so I think.
And you started out with that in your mind, that it was going to be a business venture, or you thought we were going to live in the house.
We were going to live in the house.
We were going to live in the house and never leave Philadelphia. We did it, and we were able.
Well, your mom got sick.
My mom got sick with breast cancer. She's a survivor, but we decided to move down to Florida to be closer to family, and it allowed us to kind of pursue our dream of opening our own business, which ended up being the Yum Yum Cupcake Truck.
So
the Yum Yum Cupcake Truck,
right?
LLC.
So from Philly, you came down here to.
So it was our second. It was like we came back after we met. We left for a few years. It's really hard to follow because we moved around so much. But
gypsies.
But we were, and then we really came down here closer to his mother, and then that really was the opportunity to say, you know what, we're starting a new life again. Like let's do what we've always wanted to do and start a business. It's
awesome that you can be partners in love and in business, because business is very hard to find somebody who you can be on the same page with. When it comes to creative choices.
It's true.
Well, life is hard.
That's right. Yeah.
Being together all the time, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of one of the reasons we love doing a business together, is we do like being together. But to your point, one of the things that we found out early on with Yum Yum is it sounded ridiculous, and we've always said this, but I'm the marketing guy, so like pretend I have a corner office and I'm the director of marketing, and if you want to talk about marketing, like schedule an appointment with myself. Stay in your lane essentially, and kind of respect each other's expertise. Because in the beginning of Yum Yum, I was telling him how to do something, and he was telling me how to do something, and ultimately we were fighting. And I was like, well, let's just stay in our lanes and respect each other's what we bring to the table. Right. And then we really that's when we really rocked and rolled, because we didn't have that friction.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was a lubricant. We eliminated the friction from the relationship.
So how did you land on cupcakes?
Well,
because I think, if I remember correctly in my mind, this was the beginning of the cupcake trend. This was like the first. That's why everyone was crazy about it. They were like, "Oh my god, cupcakes! They're big and delicious."
Yeah, there were a couple others in town. But so really, living in it was really living in San Francisco. It was truly the beginning of the cupcake, like those California.
Yeah.
What is the one?
Sprinkles.
Yeah. And it was when it was like literally just one or two locations. And we went to Philly after San Fran, and Philly was a little bit behind California and that, and so we saw it popping up. And then when we moved down here, we didn't really see anything that had that same sort of vibe as the West Coast, or Northeastern type of cupcake places. So it was cupcakes, and then it was really Alex that said, you know what, why don't we do it in a food truck? Like, because again, up north and out west, we saw that be popular, and it literally did not exist down here aside from the traditional, like, a rapist trucks on OBT. And so different business model. And so it was kind of people thought we were crazy. They didn't understand what it was.
They were like, you're going to sell cupcakes out of a truck? How are you going to make money? I mean, how much can you charge for a cupcake?
Matter of fact, there's an Orlando Sentinel article when we first opened that came out. And the Orlando Sentinel eventually got on board with it, but the writer, just did not, she wrote about the few that were opening, and we were all upset, and she's going to ruin us, but of course no one cared. But she was very skeptical about the whole thing and the cleanliness of it, and, it's going to ruin other businesses, and it was just a very negative outlook, but obviously Orlando got it right away. I mean, people were clearly hungry.
I mean, to me, cupcakes seems a lot easier than some of the other things people are cooking on trucks.
Well, and you didn't bake the cupcakes on the truck.
No, we would bake them off-site at a commissary kitchen, and later on at our own facility, and then we would. The truck was really the distribution model. It was our storefront. That's how we were able to go into each community and
Did you have two trucks or just one?
We had two.
Yeah, I thought so. You had two.
So so when we started, it was literally just, first of all, we found this truck at Stardust Coffee. This crazy local artist was driving it around as his personal car. He used to belong to the state prison. I mean, the thing was like a.
He literally was just driving it around Orlando.
And we he had a for sale sign on it, and we called his number, and he lived in Colonial Town, and we bought it from him. It was a heap, and we found somebody. No one was at that time. You couldn't find anybody that was remodeling trucks into food trucks. So we had to go up to Jackson. We found somebody in Jacksonville that agreed to do it. I mean, it was very much like a a rogue way to do it. And it was literally just Alex and I in the beginning. But there were a few other people who had the same idea we did in terms of food trucks, not cupcake food trucks.
Right.
Big Wheel Food Truck, Crooked Spoon, Treehouse. We all sort of opened at the same time. And that's when Mark from the Daily City said, we should do a food truck bazaar since there's all these new gourmet food trucks.
Right.
And that was the first month that we opened. And so instantly it was like a success. The food truck culture in general. And so we had the first truck and it was just Alex and I, but we quickly had to scale up employees. We had to get our own facility to bake in because we were in a commissary, like bogarting the space from everyone else because we were so busy, and became quickly our full-time jobs. Alex had to quit his job. And then once we start, we were very, very local, and then all of a sudden places like UCF wanted us, and Disney, and those sorts of places. And that was a lot of fun. And that was really Alex that drove a lot of those flavors. And I think what people really love, people loved Yum Yum, but people truly love, the cupcakes are good. I mean, they're good. And Alex...
Actually, it was really cool, and it took a lot of the pressure off of me because they would go through and they would, we would have our Facebook followers or our Instagram followers vote on flavors. So they're like, hey, what do you guys want to see this month? And then everyone would, all right, here's our top 3, right. And then everyone would vote, and it took a lot of the pressure off of me from a creative perspective.
Yeah.
I was baking something that people wanted, or what they thought they wanted at least.
And it's good because it's like, sometimes you would have some flavors, so you're always wondering, that will keep you coming, as a customer, coming back, like looking for the truck, like, oh, what's like the new flavor? I want to try it. It wasn't here last week or whatever it may be. So,
right.
Where's
your like inspiration? I'm guessing you're more of like the chef / culinary.
I never call myself a chef, but yes, I would say that it's collaborative.
You're the chef and he's the artist.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Well, I don't have any formal training to ever call myself a chef, so I think it's really important to say that because people go to school.
What did you go to school for then?
Psychology.
Oh, and then he makes cupcakes.
He loves to read me up and down.
Yeah, for filth. But yeah, so when it comes to, are you speaking about in regards to Yum Yum?
Yeah,
or
we'll start with Yum Yum.
Okay.
Because that's kind of the topic right now. That's where we're at. So where would you get the inspiration for the flavors? Did you, I'm guessing you played around in the kitchen a lot.
So I'm definitely inclined. So I can cook and I can bake. Easy. And when I'm in the kitchen, I don't follow recipes. It's very natural to
That's
me.
how he cooks.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm jealous of it.
I know, me too.
So you have that inclination. You know food, you know flavors, and maybe you don't have that formal training, but if you ever put yourself to task in an environment where you have to, create recipes around it, you're probably able to do that. So that's kind of where I was with Yum Yum. People would give us, these interesting flavor profiles. Everything was always, it was a lot of pressure, but everything was always a challenge each month to all right, someone wants I don't know, lemon meringue, great, how are we going to present that in a cupcake form?
I think the hard part too would be to bake it in a large scale, like it's easy to, if you're making a meal or something for the two of you, get a pan and throw a little this, a little that. But if you're making like 100 cupcakes, you're gonna have to put like a whole cup or a whole bunch of something in,
and add that element of Florida heat.
Yeah.
So things, and we had systems to where the cupcakes were cooled. But I mean, at the end of the day, if a truck had to drive out to Lakeland for something, again, the food truck, and then serve it was 100 degrees out, like a lemon meringue cupcake might not do as well as it did inside. And so those the natural elements of the food truck world really made his job a little bit more difficult because we had to take scale, like you said, and then also how the venue of actually how we were serving them.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny because during the cold months, we would send the cupcakes out, and we would bake them, we would chill them in a refrigerator. We would have them in these refrigerated bags in the like on shelving in the truck, so that But in the cold months, it was so cold that they would never like thaw out and warm up, so that it was never frozen, but it was like a hard, baked good because it was cold, and so we had the opposite, during those months we'd have to leave it out.
Good thing those months are very few and far between.
It was literally like a few nights.
Like maybe 2 nights of the whole year.
Literally. But, logistics, you kind of just, you
So
stay flexible.
When did Yum Yum wind down and come to an end?
So Alex and I, we were moving and grooving with it, and we were up to, we had 2 full-time employees in addition to ourselves. We had like 8 other part-time employees on staff, 2 trucks, contracts with Disney and all these places.
It's a big operation.
Yeah. We were running an operation.
What was your contract with Disney? Were you providing them with cupcakes?
It was multi-tiered, but it was we would vend at key events to guests. So the marathons, they would always have.
So like you pull the truck in.
Pull the truck
Got
in.
it.
Mm-hmm. We would vend a lot of times at ESPN Wide World of Sports, because they would ESPN Wide World of Sports, they would have. That place will be empty for a week, and then all of a sudden they'll have 15,000 cheerleaders there. And so from a food concession standpoint, they love food trucks there because...
They didn't have to do anything, just bring them in.
Yeah. And then they wheel them out. The problem is Disney has stringent health and cleaning codes, and so they didn't... All the food trucks were clean, but Disney standards are insane. So Alex put together an amazing program, and so their inspectors came to our facility. Now, like the state would come out and inspect us. They had nothing on Disney inspectors. I mean, these people would put on the white glove and run their finger across every surface, check every nook and cranny.
Wow.
And oh my God. The Disney inspection.
Like surprise inspection type thing? Or
no, it was always planned, but I mean, it was...
But we maintained our kitchen, we maintained our facility and our trucks at that standard at all times.
To Disney standards.
Yes, yes, and their standards are insane. But it taught us a lot about, I think, that industry here in Orlando. You can get away with a lot, I think, in other cities, but because Disney kind of sets that standard of hospitality or cleanliness, like everyone kind of has to abide by it. But so we would serve a lot at those sorts of events. And were you going to say something? No. And I thought you were counting like the seconds until I shut up. But okay. We
would also serve cast members.
Yeah, so we would wheel the trucks into like right. Magic Kingdom, right behind Main Street.
Yep, yeah, backstage.
Yeah, backstage. All of Epcot, every theme park,
and the warehouses where they don't have any sort of dining facility for their employees, they would bring food trucks in to serve them. Okay, so we would be a part of that, and then we also did catering for them for Disney.
Yeah, so they would, in addition to those, it's actually really cool. And when we were at Magic Kingdom serving the cast members. All of the Main Street cast members, like the ones that are like the mayor and the mayor's wife, they all used to come in their costumes. We actually snuck a couple pictures of Goofy with the cupcakes, and I was told to put down.
I mean, that's a huge deal to have that expansive, like you said, multi-tiered with Disney. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Oh, it was awesome.
And then when they ordered catering for their employees, it'd be like, okay, we need 20,000 cupcakes by Thursday. We'd be like, oh my God, and so
okay,
yeah,
happy to do it.
And then that started to happen with UCF. Universal engaged with us on a little bit. Rollins, those sorts of places. So it was growing, and Alex and I were happy with it. But really, the disconnect started to happen. A couple of things. One, cupcakes were great, but if we didn't stop doing it now, when were we going to stop? Mm-hmm. And were we going to be 50 years old selling cupcakes out of this food truck?
You kind of like stopped while you were on top, basically.
Right, it's like Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we were looking at where we were at, and it was like, okay, well, now might be a good time to exit. But there was a slight disconnect, and that's kind of what leads us to Hungry Pants. There's a slight disconnect with the food. So sure, we love I have a huge sweet tooth, but Alex and I, we really at home we tried to eat a little bit more whole foods and balanced foods,
right.
And there was a little bit of like a disconnect with not being able to do that from what we were serving, getting up and going to work every day.
That's interesting. Like you're like almost getting tired of.
Yeah.
It's you disconnect from it because you can't eat that all the time.
Right. There's almost an inauthenticity about it because even though we enjoyed it, like I can't eat a ton of dairy, so like I can't eat a cupcake all the time because there's dairy in the frosting. So it you're selling a product that you don't get to indulge in as much, and
it's hard to make 10,000 cupcakes like a week that you're just kind of like, oh my God, like it, and so I think we also people would contact us about buying it. We'd have people from Miami always be contacting
buying
us.
the business as a whole.
Yeah, and
or franchising.
And we were always saying no, but eventually someone came along that we were interested in selling to, and that's what happened. We sold it in its entirety.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like 4 months later, he closed the business.
So, are you gonna have Yum Yum Cupcakes at your new restaurant?
Or
did you sell away the rights to use that name?
He closed the business, and so
yeah, we
that
only
would be pretty cool.
We only had a 3-year non-compete,
and he closed the business. Anyway.
So obviously we have all of the recipes.
I think that's something to think about.
I don't know if we'll do cupcakes. I don't know if we'll maybe do it in cake format. I don't know. Dessert is definitely kind of part of the ethos of Hungry Pants as a brand. I mean, it's a part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll definitely see a nod to some of our Yum Yum.
So that brings us to kind of the big topic at hand is Hungry Pants. And what is going to be happening at Hungry Pants and what it is. And
give us the vibe.
So where did you come up with the name Hungry Pants?
So that's a great question. So Alex has always had a habit of putting pants on the end of things. So we used to have a dog. We used to call him Duty Pants. Yeah. And it was always like, you stop being sassy pants. Always something pants on the end of it. And when we, once we had created kind of the concept and the vibe and all that, we're like, okay, we got to name this thing. And he was coming up with all these weird names. And
wait a minute, I wasn't coming up with weird names. I was coming up with very restaurant-y names.
They were very like seed and plow, and very
it was very,
and I was like
restaurant-y.
I was like, we were walking the dogs. I remember it was like, stop with these names,
like very basic,
very like hotel restaurant names.
But what were you coming up with?
I wasn't coming up with anything. I was only critiquing, but
you're like no.
So I said, what do you want to call it, Joey? Hungry Pants? And I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And he was like, I was kidding. I was like, no, that's a great name because it's so authentically us. It's silly, it's playful, and it kind of like, I don't know, it made us feel like
happy.
A Yum Yum vibe. Yum Yum always had that kind of happy, playful vibe, and Hungry Pants just kind of sewed it all up. And the other thing, though, and we can get into the menu in a bit, the whole menu is designed, we call it Plant Curious, the menu.
Right, which is one of our questions because that's kind of the description. I think that's on your Instagram right now.
Yes.
That it is Plant Curious. So we wanted to know, what does Plant Curious
mean? #Plant Curious.
#Plant Curious. Make it a thing. So
actually, let's click on that and see.
There's a few. There's a lot of CrossFit gyms that say like.
Well, it's a new hashtag because there's only It says that there's 1,300 posts, so it looks like you're going to be able to dominate that hashtag. Oh. Someone posted something here. Who posted
Our
this?
photographer, Arlene LeBoy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arlene LeBoy.
Oh, we follow that lady.
She follows you too, I think.
Oh, maybe she wants to be on the podcast.
She's amazing.
I think we do follow her. Okay.
We do.
So, Plant Curious.
Plant Curious. So, really, Plant Curious, and this really sums up the vibe of the menu, is think about experimenting. Mm-hmm. You're experimenting, you're curious about things that maybe aren't your norm. But you don't necessarily want to give up your norm, but you just want to indulge a little bit.
You want to dabble.
You want to dabble. You might go back to what you love, but you still like to dabble. Mm-hmm. You're Plant Curious.
Okay.
And so the menu is really designed to be this way for people to enjoy the foods they love, but also dabble in foods that they maybe haven't tried. And so, instead of being, we're vegan, we're vegetarian, or whatever it is, we don't feel like there needs to be a label on menus. It's 2019, people. You want to be, if you want to eat fish but not cheese, but maybe have a hamburger every other day, you can do whatever you want. And so the menu is really designed to reflect how we feel like people in Orlando really eat. And so you'll see a lot of the dishes, they're built around plant-based foods. And so instead of meat being at the center of the plate, it's vegetables. But then meat and stuff like that is layered in throughout the menu. So it's not the focus of the menu.
Yeah. So it seems like it could be a good place to eat. Sometimes your friends, somebody in your friend group might be vegan or vegetarian, but you're like, oh, I don't want to eat any of that stuff.
Right.
This can be a place where you can come together and dine and meet everyone's needs.
That's literally what we put in our business plan.
Hungry Pants is designed for everyone, right? I mean, if there's 4 people at a table and they all have a different concept of health or a way of eating or whatever the case, everyone can come and find something on the menu.
So there's grilled tofu on the menu, but there's also a grass-fed hamburger. There's mac and cheese. I mean, there's everything, but all the menu items are meant to be very still very filling and good, and not fussy at all. Mm-hmm. So, and that's where Hungry Pants fits so well, because we're not hitting people over the head with health or vegetables. It's still supposed to be fun and playful. What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so
I think it's
with a touch of health.
I love this concept, because I think that there's 2 extremes right now. You're either going to be eating, like last night we ate a Pom Pom, which was really good, but I mean they're just all grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
Or you have these places that are so this is what we are in terms of we're vegan, we're raw, or whatever.
It can be very off-putting to somebody that's not.
Definitely.
I go to a lot of those places because I eat that way, but I can't convince people, certain friends of mine, to go, because they're like, I can't get anything I like there, and 2, I don't even. It's the marketing might not speak to them.
Well, and some of it. I mean, listen. I'm into a lot of those places, so I'm not gonna. But some of it can be a little bit crunchy, and a little bit granola for people.
Mm-hmm.
But as you were saying, I also am not going to go to a barbecue place all the time, because I don't eat
fatty,
barbecue or
big portions.
The only vegetable you find is a French fry sometimes, and it's okay. There's definitely got to be a place in the middle,
and that's
ground. What this is.
Yeah,
I love that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and so the idea is that you and it's a casual place. So the menu, it's sandwiches, salads, bowls, sides, shareable plates. And everything is meant to be layered, so
So what is the service going to be like? Is it going to be a quick counter service? Is it going to be sit down?
It's a hybrid model.
That's the other kind of cool part about. So Plant Curious is this one sort of, from a menu perspective, something we're trying to introduce. And then the second thing is the service model, which is something called Fast Fine. And this was another thing that we were inspired by from the West Coast. So you have fast casual, which you think Chipotle, right? You go up, I want beans, rice, and blah, blah, blah. And then you also have traditional restaurants where you sit and get waited on. There's something in the middle, and that's Fast Fine. And so, you definitely, the service is meant to be casual and quick, and the value of a fast casual restaurant is there. So something on the affordable side. But from an atmosphere element and from a food quality standpoint, it's a little bit more elevated. Mm-hmm. And so we're not the first restaurant in Orlando to be Fast Fine, but I don't know if people call themselves that. So you might think of Black Bean Deli, Black Rooster, Pig Floyd's. They do a really good job of being that hybrid. You feel like you're in a restaurant, not a cafeteria, but it is quick and it is a good value.
I mean, you're going to be eating off of a plate and not out of a basket with a piece of paper in it.
Right.
It's not all disposables or plastic cups. We have glassware.
So it'll be the once you order, I'm guessing you're going to order at a counter.
Yeah.
And then will your meal be brought to you?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. You won't bust your own beverages. You won't bust your own table. I mean,
are we going to have paper straws?
Yes.
Actually, have you seen those really fun?
Not paper straws. I'm wrong.
No.
Take that back.
Have you seen those hay straws?
No.
So,
they're actually really awesome. It's hay,
and just so you know,
it's really cool.
There's different levels of paper straws you can get.
There are different levels.
There are ones that last for hours, and there are ones that last for 20 minutes. So
yeah, I can't do it.
Okay, we're looking up hay straws on the internet right now.
It's Disney has recently gone paper straws property wide. I go to the Polynesian Resort.
They must be doing the cheap ones though.
I buy this expensive $14 frozen drink. I don't even get halfway through it before the straw breaks in half.
Is this actually hay? These straws?
This is actually hay, and it sips really well. And it
kind of looks like bamboo a little bit.
It doesn't break down in your beverage, and I think it's such a great, brilliant product.
Is it affordable though?
It's probably expensive.
Probably not, but you have to make sacrifices.
There's certain things
that
are not
every menu.
There's certain things that are not expensive. Just at Yum Yum, there were certain everything at Yum Yum was from scratch. Everything, and so at Hungry Pants, everything is also every dressing, sauce, everything that we can make is made in house. Sometimes it's not expensive, but it is the right way to do it. And so, just like the straws, we'll take a hit there.
Yeah.
So, are you having these straws?
We're working on it.
You're working.
I want those straws.
Okay.
If not,
did you get samples? Have you tried them?
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to do. We need to call the vendors. We need to get samples.
I can have one in this cucumber water right now. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I will help you if you need to do real life testing because. That's
sip test.
It's all about the details when it comes to a business.
I agree.
Quite frankly, as a consumer who is picky, it's all about the details.
I 100% agree.
And if I have a shitty straw,
you're out.
Forget it. It's done.
But doesn't it also kind of fit in with the whole plant curious?
Plant curious. Plus, it's kind of fun, like a hay straw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
But we do. What was interesting to me when we were meeting with our paper rep is that I always thought there was one type of paper straw, but there's not. You can buy a little more expensive,
more durable
ones that don't break down. And so I've never had one of those. But
I love how we're on the topic of straws.
Details.
Well, it's kind of a hot issue right now because they suck. But they are good for the environment, and so where is that happy place? Straw curious is what we're going with this.
Hashtag straw curious. You can also, what I would like to see businesses do, like offer me, like IKEA, you can buy a bag. Yeah. I would buy $1 metal straw.
Yeah.
Use it, and I would throw it in the trash probably.
Yeah.
Just to avoid the paper straw.
You hate it that much.
I hate it that much.
I don't like the paper straws either.
It ruins my beverage experience, and they taste bad.
I don't mind them. I do. I actually go strawless a lot. I don't like straws, and I like to feel the ice. I do on my tea.
Okay.
We can't get off the straw.
So while we're on the topic of straws, beverages, is there going to be any unique
we having
beverages?
Alcohol here?
Yes.
Yes.
Beer and wine. And then we have these, and there's really great iced teas, like flavored iced teas. And then we have these really awesome natural sodas that we make in-house. And
this is a new thing, too.
They're awesome.
What restaurant did we just start going to that has these? Mia's has craft sodas or something.
Yeah. Well, all of our syrups are going to be scratch made. So
the syrup is scratch made.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. That's everything. So the lavender. We have a lavender cream soda, and it's actually we take lavender seeds and boil them down with sugar, and make the syrup, and then we put oat milk in it and soda water. Oh my god, this drink's amazing! And so the sodas are really.
So see that amazing drink, you don't want to ruin that with a paper straw. You don't want to boil down seeds and mix syrup and then put a paper straw in that. No, we can't do it.
Have you guys tried oat milk?
No,
I've tried oat milk. Yeah,
it's really texture wise and flavor wise, it's really really tasty.
Where have we tried oat milk in coffee or?
Yeah, I bought it for the house for coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like oat milk. Yeah.
We make the cream soda with that, so it's.
Are you making your own oat milk?
No.
Okay.
No, we're buying the oat milk.
Do you have a cow out back or milking?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and kind of the cool thing about it is, and this is something that we were going back and forth about, but we're really committed to this now, we're not going to have a soda fountain. And it's not that we're anti-soda, but we have these really beautiful natural sodas that we'll be making in-house from scratch. And we have a great tea program, and we'll have filtered water and all this stuff. I don't think we need the soda fountain, and I know that's going to be controversial, and I know we're in Central Florida and in the South in general, and soda, but we did go back and forth, and we think Hungry Pants it should not have a soda
brand
fountain. For the brand.
Well,
yeah,
you don't have to
stay on brand.
You don't have to sell me on that because I don't really do soda, so I think it's great.
A few of our friends are like, you gotta have Diet Coke, and I'm like,
Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Diet Coke. We're just not Hungry Pants. It's meant to be approachable and fun and playful, and the food's supposed to be really colorful and bright. But there's certain things that like we just want to. That's why with the cupcakes, like, well, maybe they're not cupcakes, but maybe we're serving the cake in a different way.
Sure.
And so even the beverages, we just want to serve it in a way that's unique to.
There's
the
a
brand.
point of view. We just want to stick to the point of view.
I like it. I mean, you have to have you have to have a vision for what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And if you fall out of that vision, it's not going to be.
And like you learned before, don't listen to anyone else, because if you would have listened to that reporter that wrote that article and gotten down and changed your mind about things,
it's funny. When we first opened Yum Yum, everyone's like, "You gotta have milk. You gotta have milk and cupcakes. So we went and found a distributor for the milk. We paid all this money for milk. When I say not one person,
I don't think I would buy.
It was like 95 degrees
because nobody wants to drink milk in the heat.
Everybody
was like, you have to have milk.
You don't have milk, and then we ordered the milk, and then no one wanted the milk, and so it's like, you know what? We just have to listen to
listen to your gut.
Yeah. So
tell us about the space. Where are you guys going to be?
So, have you ever heard of Carol's Place over on South Orange?
I have not heard of Carol's Place.
I just saw it on an Instagram post that they were boo-hooing, like, oh, it's the last day, we have to everybody go and have your last meal. And I was like, I never even heard of this place. We live over here, so we don't know about actually a lot of things that are downtown.
Yeah. Out of the so Carol's Place it's in SoDo, which is the marketing name given to south of downtown. Right. Everyone knows it for the Target on South Orange Avenue, but it's a really great neighborhood. You have the hospital, and then you have Delaney Park and Conway, and it's really all these neighborhoods that are like right there.
Belle Isle.
And yet for years, that whole side of 408 really has kind of been ignored. Like everything's Winter Park, Mills 50. But there's a ton of people that live over there. And so it's a really great location. It's right on South Orange Avenue. It's a standalone building. It's not in a shopping center. We have our own parking lot, which we know parking's huge with people. So we're like super, like, we pinch ourselves with this location. But
you said before we got on air or on the mics, is that you had been looking for a while, right?
We've been looking since before January, and it took us a long time to find the space. And we had a couple near misses with a couple spaces, and we decided not to move forward with those. And thank goodness, because this location on South Orange is an awesome location for Hungry Pants.
Orlando's changed a lot since we left. I mean, in our heads it was like yesterday, like I was saying to you, but really we left. Well, we came back a year and a half ago, but it's been 5 years since we closed Yum Yum.
It's changed.
Right, and
lot.
so
did you left after Yum Yum?
Yeah, we like sold Yum Yum and moved. Like,
oh, okay.
Got on a plane and left.
We ultimately, like, the day I woke up back in Philly,
it was the wrong decision.
I was like, Alex, what did we do? Why am I here? It's so cold and it's dark and people are mean. Get me out.
Okay, let me just get this straight. So
it's been a lot. It's hard.
San Francisco, from here, San Francisco, Philly, then here for Yum Yum, and then back to Philly.
Yes,
and then,
but we haven't talked about yet.
And then we went to Dallas
for 2 years. And then
what was going on in Dallas?
We had a job opportunity.
Okay.
He worked in a hotel. He ran a hotel out there, and then I worked in a magazine. Kind of what we did before Yum Yum. He was always in hotels. I always worked in the magazine business.
So, is hotels out of your system? Or are we thinking about opening a hotel?
Until we're ready to open a hotel, it's out of my system.
Sleepy pants.
Actually, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then you can add your second Hungry Pants into the hotel. That'll be the fine dining for the hotel.
Is there
it'll just be a bar and it'll only be Thirsty Pants.
Is there any seedy motels in that area that need to be transformed into seedy pants?
I'll tell you what. Our dream would be to have Hungry Pants, like a few Hungry Pants locations. That would be able to get us to the point where maybe we could afford to buy like a really cool old motel or a fun B&B.
We love little boutique hotels. When we travel, we try to stay
the best. Why stay anywhere else if you can?
That are themed.
And we actually, I think Alex and I, we love to host people, and like I think that's why
that's what it is.
People are like, why do you like the restaurant business? But like we just love creating an atmosphere, and just bringing people in and talking. Like, that's why we loved Yum Yum so much, is because there was that constant interaction. It was a little world that we created, and so an inn or a hotel speaks, I think, to that same sort of language, and we would love to.
Look at the glimmer in his eye. He's like,
it's true. We love to host, we love to entertain, and it's something that we.
Do you guys do Airbnb at your house?
You know,
we have too many. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats. They're all insane.
Yeah, enough.
No. I wish we could though, because we do. We have a lot of family that travels in and out of town, so it seems like we should be charging for it.
Yeah, nobody pays us. That's it's all on our own time.
So you have your own parking spot. You have your own standalone building.
Yeah, super excited.
So what's the status of? Did Carol's just close recently, or?
Yeah, she was. Carol's has been open for 19 years, and the woman that was running it, not Carol, Linda.
Everyone's like, poor Carol. I'm like, her name's Linda, and she's retiring.
But she was retiring. She was just kind of done, ready to take her hat off with the food and beverage and
breakfast
running a restaurant.
It's a tough business.
It is a tough business.
Up at 5 a.m.
It's demanding.
Yeah.
So,
but she's also the landlord, so she.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she just is collecting the rent. and managing the property. Yeah, I mean she's put in her dues.
Right.
And so it's a great scenario. She was ready to step away, and then she wanted to lease the building. The cool part is, and I've said this a couple of times now, is that she could have sold to a developer. They could have tore it down, built up something we didn't need, but she decided to keep it and rent to local people. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the it was really, and this is what I was saying earlier with Orlando changing, it was really hard to find a space. It was hard to find a vacant space where the landlord would rent to people like us that didn't have 15 locations. And because in this market, you could walk into a location, or you could walk into a space and say, "Oh, I have 40 locations," and you'll get that over us any day, because landlords don't care that we're real. A local business like that's creative and interesting is better than a dental.
Because that's a little bit of a risk. We
are a risk, and in a good economy, why take the risk? So. We were lucky to find the space we did because it was really hard. We were looking at places like Baldwin Park, and they just don't. I mean, they're not built to lease to people like us. They're built to lease to people with a lot of money.
They want to lease to people like us, but you're talking to someone out in Dallas, Texas, who's completely removed and disconnected to Baldwin Park, and that makes it hard for them to.
So when does build out start?
It's starting.
Alex is building out all day today.
Yeah. So we're doing. The great thing about the space is that it's a second generation space, so it doesn't need a huge. It needs like a facelift, maybe like a little bit of filler, but no actual.
No, I would say if we're comparing it to plastic surgery, there's no incisions. It's just injectables.
Yeah, just injections.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
for our Botox fans.
So what's the vibe of the decor going to be? If you're ready to reveal that.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to describe it is it's a little bit of it's what Joey and I. It's a piece of our home. Like there's all this. We have this beautiful little cottage in College Park, and the kitchen is wrapped in horizontal pine wood, right? All throughout, painted white, and we're bringing some of that element into the restaurant. Mm-hmm. We're doing really beautiful refinished cement floors, and we have all these great bright colors that are part of the brand. So really light, bright, white walls, beautiful art, and just a really happy, sun-filled space.
Yeah. So that. And from a brand perspective, Yum Yum.
I didn't do good enough.
No. The people aren't eating in our living room though, so you're like, our bedroom has linen sheets, and no, I'm kidding.
No. That's what the napkins will be.
Yeah, they're modeled after our bedroom sheets. No, from a brand perspective, we actually worked with someone named Sean Walsh. He has Secret Society. He does all the really cool pins.
Oh my gosh,
stuff.
I love their stuff. It's so cool.
He's a local artist, and he helped us a lot with Yum Yum when we had it, and he was just starting out in his freelance career, so it was kind of a natural fit for when we
need him to do a logo for us.
Oh my, he's amazing. He's actually a really great person to talk to too. He just is really, I think, has done a lot of cool projects.
I loved. We did the indoor flea.
Yeah,
and I love his booth. It's so like.
Yeah, it's like spooky.
Yeah, just really cool.
The skeletons,
cool stuff.
And, yeah.
He bought a patch to put on.
A patch. I had the Orlando is okay T-shirt.
With the skeleton, like that.
Yeah.
So he created our whole. It was natural for us to kind of contact him and say, let's talk Hungry Pants, and so we kind of went to him with this. Yum Yum was very literal kitsch. It was 1950s.
Very retro.
Jetsonian, like atomic era kitsch. And Alex and I love that style, but Hungry Pants is like a more grown-up version. So it's very light and bright, like Alex was saying, but there's still these playful elements that are like, it's more Palm Springs and less,
That's kind of the vibe I get from the it written out in the logo.
Yes. So if you look at the P's.
I like the H. I love the font.
So the font, I said to him,
cool.
My favorite thing in the world. Not favorite. That's a very.
Yeah, I was
when it comes to typeface.
Someone's really.
What's about ready to come out? Your favorite thing in the world.
Someone's really.
Better have the right answer.
No, it's you. When it comes to like font styles, I really love like the old department store logos from the 1960s. Like the only one that really is left is Neiman Marcus. It's the
very
signature.
Clean lines.
Yeah,
Lord and
Taylor. It's literally the signature. And so if you growing up, we had a few of those, like John Wanamaker's in Philly, and it was his signature. So I showed Sean a bunch of these, and I said, "Can you create something that looks like a signature of a department store?" So
the P is like, I love it.
This is a hand drawn. I mean, he drew it. So it's not a font that you bought. It's really fun. And so, looking at that kind of 1960s department store, we went with this California, Palm Springs, not kitschy, but still has that vintage elements in it. And like Alex said, very bright and sunshine filled.
And I think doing that gives it a little bit of nostalgia, and like it's a subconscious thing that you connect with.
Yes.
Like you look at that logo and you look at the brand and the food, and everything needs to be something that you relate to and you feel like you have a connection to.
I mean, with a name like Hungry Pants, which is already fun and it has a fun connotation, you could have gone a different direction with it, but I like this direction because it kind of elevates.
You hit the nail on the head.
In a way.
And so the first thing we said to each other was, if it's the name Hungry Pants, it has everything up. It can't be kitschy and can't be. It has to be a little bit more what you said, elevated. And so we're trying to be authentic to our kind of love of all things retro, but also be elevated. Like Orlando's grown up since Yum Yum. We've grown up since Yum Yum, and this is what Hungry Pants is.
Right.
Yum Yum was our 20s and Hungry Pants is our 30s.
Aww.
And you see that.
Believe it or not, I'm in my 30s.
Yeah. Minus the injectables.
So yeah, we're really excited with the space. We hope to be open 2 months. Okay. So because it's not a full build out, it's cosmetic. I think we can get it going pretty soon. And the menu's already been fleshed out, and we're really excited about the menu. That's really a fun part of it.
So then the menu is you, Alex? Who developed the menu? Is it you?
Yeah, I think. Well, no, everything's collaborative. So everything's collaborative. Joey and I both had this idea of where we wanted to go. I'm not a chef. We actually engaged a chef that is a cousin of mine, but she's a fantastic chef for celebrities, and has worked for the last 15 years in Manhattan and Nashville.
Gosh, you guys have like the best connections.
And, well, she's really talented. And what's really cool about her is that her background is health, like a macrobiotics, and then also a classically trained chef. So
that's a great marriage.
Yeah. So some of the recipes were things that we've already been working on at our home, and then some of these we kind of engaged with her and we said, this is kind of what Hungry Pants is, and
much like the brand and Sean from Secret Society, like there's an idea and like help us execute this with your expertise, and that's what we did with her.
And what was nice about that is that she really gave us some of those little foodie elements that elevate each dish and make sure that it's not something that you would be able to necessarily replicate at home. It really becomes a very special dish each menu item.
So have you hired your kitchen staff then?
No.
Or that's something that
we've hired one. We've hired a kitchen manager, and he's local here. And he has been a general manager of a fast casual restaurant downtown for the last 9 years. He's really talented, and he has more of a raw talent and an eye for detail and plating and presentation.
Yes, that's what you need.
Yeah.
He's key to this whole thing.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna. We don't have the need for an in-house chef because the food is already designed. But he will really be the guy in the kitchen leading the kitchen crew. Right. So the head, he'll be that acting chef, but he's just not creating the dishes.
And we'll be in there as well, just as we were always involved.
I was head dishwasher for 5 years. Yeah,
you're always involved in something.
It's not all. I'm like marketing, but really I was like cleaning dishes, like 9 hours a day.
Accounting. I'm prep cook.
I was janitor.
Yeah. So we're always doing something. Yeah.
Are you going to be doing brunch? Because brunch is pretty popular in Orlando.
Say you guys are asking such good questions. These are all like all the things that you guys are good with.
We are, and I'll tell you, breakfast is like my number one meal of the day. Like I love breakfast. I love going out to breakfast.
Breakfast food is really good.
I love making breakfast, being creative around breakfast.
He loves saying breakfast.
I'll say it one more time.
Breakfast pants.
Yeah, breakfast. I'm a breakfast pants. So when we initially wrote the menu for Hungry Pants, we wrote it for a lunch dinner, as a lunch dinner menu, and then based on the location, we know that we can add in a breakfast menu. So the menu hasn't been written formally for breakfast and brunch.
Because everybody that went to Carol's, they're going to be looking for a new spot.
I know.
Get that breakfast.
They're not going to... The Carol's customer
can't let them down.
You're so on it.
Turned off with Hungry
different.
Pants.
Maybe, yeah.
You need to win them over.
Yeah. But breakfast is definitely on its way as well.
Cool.
We'll probably open that, or introduce breakfast a couple months in.
So do you have a teaser for breakfast of like something you're thinking about? In terms of a dish.
Oh my gosh, so many. Well, I'll tell you.
Just one thing.
Okay, one thing that I will say I want to bring to Orlando because it doesn't exist here, is
that we know of.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's a big statement. Like my favorite thing.
Yeah, my favorite thing is
it's going to be a
signatures of department stores from the 1960s.
My favorite thing in the world is. No, we found this dish while we were in Texas, and it's on every breakfast menu in Texas, but it's not here. Our migas.
What
is it?
And they're scrambled eggs with tortilla strips in it, and it's amazing.
It's on every menu in every restaurant.
Every menu. On every
migas.
I definitely.
Which I think means I don't know what it means.
That doesn't. No.
Friends? No, that's amigos.
That's amigos. Yeah.
Doesn't it mean like eggs?
No,
that's huevos.
That's a huevo.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's one thing, but we also, Joey and I, on the weekends will make this really good cauliflower.
We might want to edit that part out because we don't want anyone to steal your idea before you get it out there.
Yeah, end it there.
Oh yeah,
but you heard it here first.
Yeah.
What do you call it when you have to put the little copyright it, trademark?
So the cauliflower. What were you saying about the cauliflower?
Basically we make this really good cauliflower wrap, which sounds weird, but you spice it and you saute it, and then you put some breakfast sausage in it. Like obviously we would do a vegetable-based breakfast sausage, but it's an awesome like breakfast burrito, essentially.
The tortilla is cauliflower?
No, the innards, the inside. The filler. Okay. So instead of doing,
so, sometimes they have like cauliflower pizza. The crust is all cauliflower.
Oh yeah, to work with.
So those are some ideas, but
interesting.
And the menu itself, it's the Hungry Pants lunch and dinner menu. It's really meant to be. I want to say it's like food that you're used to and you're comfortable with, but like it has that classic Orlando spin on it. So there's a lot of Asian influence, a lot of Spanish influence. So it's Orlando's food scene is pretty diverse, and so we wanted the menu to reflect that sliver of space between comfort food and sort of like more exotic food.
Well, it seems like there's comfort levels for everyone.
Right. What does that mean? You're right.
Whether you're looking to stay, cleaner,
vegan, keto,
yeah,
right.
Whether you want a full fatty meal,
Yeah. Honestly, that's the whole idea. You can kind of pick and choose whatever you like. I'm really excited about like the sides on the menu. They all have 3 or 4 different components, so it's not just like you're not just getting, I don't know, steamed broccoli, and that's what it is, or the vegetable medley.
Right.
It's the sad.
Yeah, I mean, everything has a really interesting perspective.
The pictures look beautiful from the photo shoot.
I want that shrimp. I love shrimp.
What are you doing with shrimp?
What are the shrimp? Oh, the shrimp are like, what are we doing?
Someone's been building out a restaurant all day.
The shrimp's on one of our share plates. So we have this one share plate that we call the Grand Aioli.
Okay.
And the shrimp are there that you can go through and you can dip them in.
Oh, that sounds good.
The Grand Aioli is like a see it a lot of times in like French restaurants as a big plate filled with all these different vegetables, endive, but then also
potatoes.
Yeah, like a grazing platter type of thing?
Yeah, sort of like
exactly.
that. Okay. But we have this beautiful aioli we do, and so the shrimp are part of that. The thing with Plant Curious, I think there's going to be a little bit of an education factor there, because I think people see the word plant and say, oh, it's plant-based. But it's not plant-based. It's Plant Curious.
Right.
And we had somebody on social media say, oh my God, those shrimp look real. I can't wait to eat them. #vegan. And,
I know, they're real.
They are real. And so, but people love a label. They love it being one or the other. And this is not that. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And so, I'm grateful for opportunities to talk about it, because I think we have to get the word out that
definitely.
No, it's real shrimp and it's a real egg. But if you don't want the real egg or shrimp, you don't have to get it. But it's there for you.
It's an amazing concept. I'm pleasantly
Except for
surprised.
The straws.
Yes, except for the straws. We need to just work
Don't
that
judge.
out for me.
Don't judge on
Okay.
straws.
Because if I come to your restaurant and I have a shitty straw, it's going on Yelp. It's going on Google.
Well,
1 star.
If there's a paper straw, it's his fault.
Is he fighting you against the paper straw?
No, I'm pushing the paper straw.
I can't wait to see the hay straw. Like that, I'm interested in. I feel like hay tastes like shit. Have you ever put a piece of hay in your mouth? It tastes
I
bad.
can't say I have. It's coated.
You know how cowboys always put the hay in their mouth?
You don't think it's like wax coated?
It's
or
wax.
anything?
I don't think it's coated.
I think it's wax.
I'll bet you it's waxed.
It's waxed.
We'll stick with that.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have a reserve of metal straws.
I was gonna say they'll just have a little thing like you'll have a little
one
case.
that's like,
I
take one
I
and
do
then-
buy them when I see them, because I leave in my car, I leave in my bag. I always just have a metal straw laying around. But
Or you could have like, I don't know if you can, I don't know how like sanitary it is. Just like the silverware, you could have metal straws and wash it.
Well, I think you have to like go in and like pipe clean each straw. That'll be Joey's
That
job.
can be somebody's
we're
job.
talking about straws again, by the way.
We are talking about straws again.
It's like the third time we come back to it.
So, in regards to Hungry Pants, is there anything that we missed that you want to like?
No, we want people to come and say hi.
Just come.
I think that they're gonna come.
Yeah.
I think that that's not going to be a problem.
It's really. I think we talked about this already, but we're excited to be back here, because it's. I think it was going to other cities. You realize that in other markets, people love to tear down restaurants. They love to like rip restaurants a new one. Orlando, people really celebrate like small businesses here. Like there's podcasts like yours and blogs. And so I think we're excited just to come back into that community. We missed it. Having Yum Yum, that was fun to be part of that scene.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because I don't think that this is like a cutthroat culture here in Orlando, because I think a lot of people like to skip over Orlando, especially on the outside. So there's not a lot of eyes looking at Orlando in terms of.
We really lack the little, like you were saying, it's hard for little businesses, like smaller non-chain businesses. And
so when they do pop up, people really rally behind them. Yeah,
food, that's the best.
Because the eyes are on Disney and Universal
right.
and the convention space.
Right.
In terms of the world, the eyes are on those things.
Yes.
And so
not so much the culinary
maybe
world.
it is a safer space for, people opening up a restaurant and not being attacked by,
It is that people tend to celebrate, the things that are done well here and taste good. People are like, you know what? Let's make sure people do come out and support.
Yeah.
I mean, Orlando kept a little food truck named Yum Yum in business for 5 years, and it was because people were finding us like on social media. We'd be parked in the back of an empty lot,
And we were talking when you first arrived that this was before Instagram. This was way before. Like, people were posting, like, we're here tonight, we're there tonight, like, come find us.
We're that old.
So people were looking hard for you.
They were.
We had to put work in to find the truck.
They did. And, it was one of the stresses of Yum Yum is, like, if we ran out of a flavor or we sold out and we were going to close early, we knew people were on their way.
Yeah.
And when we first were open, it would just be in, like, a couple spots downtown. And, if we were shutting down early... I remember this one woman, I just drove from Ocoee. She had her kids in the back of the car, and I felt so bad, but we were sold out. And so, it's one of those things, like, you learn over time, like, people are going to come out for this. This is a real thing. And so we're just, we're excited to be back with Hungry Pants, because it's, once again, it's something that's like an authentic extension of us, and I think people are going to like it.
Well, I'm excited to try it out.
Me too. I'm excited now.
So your projected open month, October sometime?
End of October is what we're aiming for. So just keep your fingers crossed that everything goes exactly as
Which it
planned.
never does, and it never will. But we can cross our fingers.
Yeah.
So October, early November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before the holiday. We want to beat the holiday.
Okay.
That's the goal.
So we like to end things out with a little "What's your favorite in Orlando" game.
Fun.
So what is your favorite restaurant that's not yours?
Oh, wow.
Or has there been the one that you're gravitating towards right now? Because the favorite word gets... People don't like the favorite word.
And is it favorite, like special occasion or favorite go-to?
Either or.
Either one.
And you go.
You can each have
You
an
can
answer.
each have an answer.
They will be different, so good.
No, you go.
My favorite oh my god, it's hard for me to pick. I love so many.
I know. I have
one of the best parts of it moving back was all of our favorite restaurants. But I think Prado, when we owned Yum Yum and we had one of those like 12-hour days, and we would go there on a Wednesday night, on a Friday night. It was our special occasion place. It was our...
Where's Prado? I know nothing of it.
It's on
Never
Park
heard
Avenue
of it.
in Winter Park. It's been open for about 10 years now. It's amazing. You have to go. There's the best pizza and homemade
Italian?
pasta.
Yeah.
Well, the name Prado kind of gives it away, but Italian.
Yeah, it's Italian.
It's also a great place to just like
people
watch.
Yeah. They have great drinks.
It's amazing.
We also, Alex, I thought you were going to say Black Rooster.
No,
tacos.
I was going to say Prado because it's nostalgic for me.
Oh, well, see, that's nice.
Oh, same answer.
So you answered right.
Yeah. Black Rooster's great. It's a taco spot on Mills 50.
Uh-huh.
They do a really great job. Again, kind of doing something different, and not just another taco place. To have a unique perspective on tacos. And
Pizzeria Bruno.
Pizzeria Bruno. We were just there.
Yeah.
Have you guys been there?
No.
So, oh my god, Pizza
Is it
Bruno.
new? Is it new or?
No, they've been around a couple of years, but they're in kind of an obscure, up and coming neighborhood.
Hourglass District.
Curry Ford, and Bumby area.
It's kind of where we were last night.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Kabuki Sushi.
I've only heard of it.
Best sushi you can get in Orlando.
Oh, you better run.
We
He
also
loves sushi.
we tend to like every now and then it's a little splurge, but we'll come down to Disney Springs and we'll do Wine Bar George.
Oh,
Yeah, Wine Bar George is really
we like
very
Wine
good.
Bar.
Do you ever do like the whole fish?
I haven't done the whole
Roncino,
fish.
It's amazing.
So good.
And the
Really?
second floor is just like a fun spot to go.
That's where we had our
Really?
first meal there. Yeah.
It's always quiet.
You can people watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have music there on that stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mac and cheese balls there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, everything that I've tasted there is good. I like that you can order kind of by the ounce, so you don't have to commit to a wine. You can try different
Yes,
wines. and
that's
it's
fun.
good.
That's the fun. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many great wines there.
They're doing magical dining.
They
That
are?
starts
I think
this
it
month.
started?
It starts
You guys are
tomorrow.
20 yeah,
The
tomorrow.
It's the 23rd.
And then I think one of our special occasions places is California Grill at the Contemporary.
Aw.
That we can never get in, but
That's what makes it
6
special.
months out.
Yeah.
You have to book it 6 months out.
So we have a good little mix of local haunts that we love, and then some of the touristy
But
stuff.
pro tip at Cali Grill, you can go up and eat at the bar lounge if you want to.
And you can get in.
Yeah, they just let you. You just say I'm going up to the lounge
And
and
they
they'll
let
let
you
you. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're close. So, well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Stephanie, was there anything else that you wanted to ask?
I was gonna do another question.
Oh, okay, go for it.
What do you have? What do you think Orlando's best kept secret or like a pro tip is for anything? Like any activity, any special night, anything that you can think of. Like what do you do for date nights? Like what's something that you just love that's special to you in Orlando?
Go ahead.
He says.
I think that one of the most special things about Orlando and Orlando and Winter Park is just being able to go walk around the lakes.
That's what I was going to say.
I think the lakes are something that people don't talk about in Central Florida. You know, Florida's known for its coastline and its beaches, but Orlando is so special because it has all these beautiful lakes, and they're natural and they're beautiful, and most of them are accessible to the general public.
Yeah.
We live in College Park, and we have all these beautiful lakes that we get to go walk around, and a perfect date night for us is just spending time together like that and talking and just enjoying where we are and where we've put so much effort into coming back to and being a part of.
When we left Orlando, it was one of the things that was missing for us. Like we there was nowhere to walk that was beautiful. Like the lakes in Winter Park and Orlando are just beautiful, and there's the flora and fauna, the birds and like the egrets. They're just, you don't see that anywhere else. You don't see
Even
that
Lake Eola when you see the swans.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we just went to Lake Eola the other night and walked around, but we live right off of Lake Adair in College Park, and it's like time kind of stands still, and that's, I think people in Central Florida, they take the lakes for granted, and they're a treasure.
Special.
Yeah. So you'll find us there probably on Friday night walking around.
Nice.
Pulling our hair out from the
Have you
restaurant.
done the boat tour in Winter Park?
Yes.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
something that I want to do. I
Yeah,
think
we
you want to
want
do it
to do
too.
it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Wait
we
till it
haven't
gets
done
cooler.
Yeah, it's too hot right
It's
now.
too hot.
Yeah.
We've done it like probably 10 times. Like,
But when
really-
people come in and
yeah,
visit out of town, we'll take it.
Yeah,
so fun.
I've known about it for I think probably a year or two now, and we haven't done it
I
yet.
think in the wintertime we'll do it.
Go to there and then go to Prado for like a late lunch.
Mhm.
Sit and stare at everyone walk by on Park Ave and make fun of them.
Have some
We like the
drinks.
Briar Patch.
Oh, Briar Patch.
Oh my god, that's
Oh,
another one of our favorites.
Yeah. We have a very special connection to the Briar Patch. The Briar Patch was the original Yum Yum shop
In the 50s.
in the 50s.
It was an ice cream
And
parlor
so
called Yum Yum.
When we
Well,
were,
Oh.
yeah, we actually kind of named it. It was inspired by the Yum Yum shop,
Really?
the Yum Yum truck.
Yeah,
Fun
because
tip.
they have ice cream parlors somewhere on their
because
signage.
of it used to.
Okay.
It's like an homage to the Yum Yum shop.
I always wondered about that because
Like why?
because I don't think that they have I don't think they showcase ice cream on their menu.
They used to have an ice cream case, and then they remodeled it.
And the only reason they had it was there is because all the old locals were like, "This used to be the ice cream place." You know,
Right.
Now
Well,
they have these
beautiful
huge cakes that are like
Yes,
10 feet tall.
I love the Briar Patch.
We just went. My mom was here. We went for her birthday and our friend Debbie's birthday. And we had a delicious meal
I'm hungry now. Thank you.
with blackberry bourbon drinks
Yes.
Oh yeah,
and
that blackberry bourbon
chocolate
was
chip pancakes. Oh, it was good.
They have really good fried green tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
good. Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to try those.
Yeah,
well, if you're
really.
recommending them, then I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna try
yeah,
it.
really good.
Like, I don't like fried green tomatoes, but I will eat those.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're that good.
It was so nice having you
thank you so
guys.
much.
Yeah,
We
thank
learned
you.
so much.
We talked a long time.
I'm sorry.
no,
No,
it's good.
it was
Apologies
good.
in
It's
advance.
Good.
a special 2-part. No, it's like a Real Housewives reunion.
Right.
Part 2, we talk about straws.
Yeah.
We talked about straws twice.
Yes. That was like 30 minutes of conversation. Let's be real.
Well, everyone, make sure you look out for Hungry Pans coming later this fall to Orlando.
Go to their Instagram. You can see, everything we just have been talking about.
On their Instagram, and it's
Go ahead and follow so that you can get the up-to-date information on what's coming up.
It's at Eat Hungry Pants, and I'm guessing, eathungrypants.com as well. So stay tuned for updates for what exact date in fall, but we're definitely looking forward to coming.
We'll be there.
Yes,
thank
for
you.
sure.
And I'll bring a straw just in case.
I'll have one for you, I promise.
All right, guys. Until next time.
Bye.
You guys gotta say bye too. Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram at Orlando Out of Context. Instagram is where you can connect and interact with us, as well as see photos and videos related to this week's episode.
Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, but you will one day.
It's his own. It's his own. After 15 years, that's
One day you will.
That's what happens.
You guys are 15 years.
15 years.
15 years.
That's forever in the
Well,
gay world.
You look so young.
Okay,
for
oh my
15.
god, yes. Yes.
We've been married. Well,
That's
so
like
we're in the
50
afterlife,
years.
really.
Yeah.
We're in the eternal afterlife together at this point.
I'm so proud of you both. That's such an accomplishment.
And a
For
food
any
truck.
relationship.
together.
I mean,
yeah.
God, 15 years.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay.
We're going back into business.